Hi, welcome to the pre-calculus lecture series. And we are going to talk about the section 7.4 in this video. So this section, we're going to talk about how to solve the basic trigonometry equations by using all the formulas we learned from the previous few sections here. Okay, so now let's go ahead, go to our lecture notes and let's start to work on it. Okay, all right. So in here, okay, in here we said, okay, how do we solve some basic trigonometry functions? And sometimes the problem will ask us to find the solution is in one period, or they want to find all the possible solutions here. And I like to use the example number 1 and to show you how do we find the solution in one period, okay? And then how to find all the solution. So I like to use example number 1, then we can fill in what the notes we have here. Okay, so this one's here is pretty straightforward, right? So let's say sine theta equal to 1/2 here. So in order to find the solving the thetas, right? So I'm going to see what the theta will give me 1/2. So typical, I'm going to use the graph to solve it. Okay, so here, let's take a look. This is so for now, you should get a pretty good understanding of what is your sine cosine graph looks like, right? So in here, we said this is this is a pi over 2, this is a pi, and this is a what? This is a 3 pi over 2, this is a 2 pi, and this is a zeros, right? Now we know we have the 3 values here. So so basically, we have those special value. We have a 0, then the next one is 1/2, and then the next one is the square root of the 2 over 2, and then the next one is what? Is square root of the 3 over 2 and the 1s, right? So you go up here, so finally you reach 1s here. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look. How do I use, so like in here also, this one's here, we said this is a 30 degrees, right? So, or sometimes you want to use the pi over 6. And this one we say is a 45 degrees. So you use a pi over 4. And then here, this is a 60 degrees. So you use pi over 3, right? And then this is 90 degrees, so it's pi over 2 here. Okay, so in here, so the first things I will see here, right? So it's a sine equal to 1/2. So that means here, this is 1/2. Okay, so if you want to take a look at one period, you are going to get a 1/2 in here, you're going to get a 1/2 here, right? So the remaining here should be negatives, right? So the first thing you say, okay, the 1/2, based on my unit circle, what is my first angle here? I'm going to get is what? Pi over 6, right? So the pi over 6, and then after you, so the next 1/2 you see is in here. So also is from where to where. So the next 1/2 here will be what? Will be from pi minus pi over 6, correct? So in here you will get a what is 5 pi over 6 here. All right, so that's why when you find the solution for one period, typical, what do you do here? So you use the graph to identify where are the values, right? Okay. Then you find the corresponding angles. Right, so remember the sine we use here, this is the sine graph, right? And then you use the cosine is like this, right? So we're going to do some examples here. Okay, so now for the general solution. So what is the general solution? That means, if you take a look at your graph here, right? The sign is a continue go. So that means that after one period, one half going to appear here and appear here again. So these points, right? So this point here, this point is what? It's the 2 pi you add to the previous points, right? Also, you can go the backward, right? So like you said, what I mean go backward, so you can go like this way, right? Then the 1/2, you will see what is the 1/2. You will see 1/2 is here, right? So that means you go the other side, right? So these ones here will go back to here, so they will get the same 1/2 here, right? So the general solutions here, so the general solution, so this is in one period, right? So the general solution, because sine the period is 1/2, so the general solution will be theta equal to what? Theta equal to the pi over 6. And then you can plus or minus 2k pi, right? So k is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or your theta can be 5 pi over 6 plus 2k pi, right? Plus or minus 2k pi. So you can go either ways, right? So the reason why in here we say is the 2k pi is because the sine, the period is 2 pi here. So, so for the find the older solutions here, we know out of the 6 trig function, the sine, cosine, cosecant, and the secant, they all have a period is what? They all have a period is 2 pi. So that means the general solution, it will be whatever you theta plus minus 2k pi. Okay, then we know the tangent and the cotangents, right? These two trig function, the period is what? Is equal to pi. So then my general solution will be what? Then my general solution will be the theta plus minus k pi, right? Of course, k is equal to the 1, 2, 3, da, 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 da. That's what we call is a general solution. It's based on what is the period of these functions, right? So if the function is 2 pi, then you say the 2k pi. If the period of this function is pi, then it's plus minus k pi here. Okay, so now we filled this note here. Now let's take a look at the second problem here. Okay, let's say solve the equations of the cosine, right? The cosine theta equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. Then list the general solution in the one period, okay? So here cosine theta is equal to the negative square root of the 2 over 2. Okay, so now let's take a look at the cosine here. So this is a pi over 2. This is a pi. This is a 3 pi over 2. This is a 2 pi. And this is 1, right? So we know cosine is go like this. Right? That's the cosine graph. That looks pretty ugly. Let me see here. I can get it looks a little bit better. All right, so hopefully, so I guess I cannot put it too high. That's why I make the graph looks kind of silly here. Okay, so here, all right. So this is 1. So my cosine go like this. All right. Okay, so now, okay, so I'm looking for the negative square roots of the 2 over 2. So I'm looking for the negative values here, right? So the negative value, that means my first angle going to be in here, correct? negative square root of 2 over 2. Then my another negative square root of 2 over 2 going to be here. Right, by using the graph, you want to use the graph to determine that. Okay, so now let's take a look at the thetas here. Square root of 2 over 2 from the unit circle, I know is 45 degrees or is pi over 4. So the first angles here will be what? The first angle will be the pi over 2 plus pi over 4, right? So the first angle is 3 pi over 4. Okay, so now I have another angles here, right? So this angle, you know, it will be what? This angle will be from the, okay, so this angles here will be from the 3 pi over 2 drop down to the pi over 4, right? So this angle will be the 3 pi over 2 minus pi over 4. So what is the, what do we have here? We got this is a 5 pi over 4. Okay, so these two are my solution within the one period, right? So my general solutions here will just be what is 3 pi over 4 plus minus 2k pi. And also is 5 pi over 4 plus minus 2k pi here. So they want you to list 8 specific solutions here. So then you can just put a k equal to 1 or negative 1 or 2, and then you can get your solutions here. So for example, here you can say this is negative 5 pi over 4 and negative 3 pi over 4. And then you can have a 3 pi over 4 and a 5 pi over 4 and the dots, right? So this one's here, this two is what? This two, you can let the k equal to negative 1. This one is k equal to 0. You can give any numbers of the k and you can solve it, all right? Okay, so now after we know how to find those solutions here, right? So now let's take a look at problem number 3 here. So the problem number 3 here, let's say find all the solutions, right? So just like we did before, okay, so here, let's take a look here. So this is a 2 sine theta minus 1 equal to 0. It's just like we solved the equation. So my add 1 both sides, right? So I have 2 sine theta equal to 1. Then I divide by half, divided by half. So I have a sine theta equal to 1/2 here, right? I already solved it in the first problem. So I know the theta is equal to the pi over 6 and the 5 pi over 6. Right, that's for the one period. Then they say find all the solutions. So what is my final answer? So the theta will be the pi over 6 plus 2k pi plus minus 2k pi. And the theta could be the 5 pi over 6 plus minus 2k pi. So for both, so this one's here, this will be my what? This will be my solutions here, all right? Okay, so now let's take a look at the next ones here. The next one is the tangents, right? Okay, so in here, then you can add the, try to solve this system of equations, not solve this equation, so I can just do the +3 +3, both sides, correct? So I will have a tangent square theta equal to what? I have a tangent square theta equal to what? Equal to 3, right? Okay, tangent square theta equal to 3, then I take the square roots, so it's a tangent theta equal to the square roots of the 3, and the tangent theta equal to the negative square roots of the 3. Okay, so for tangents here, let's take a look at the graph also, right? So this is pi over 2, pi here. Okay, so this is a pi over 2. Okay, so the tangents is go like this. So the number tangent follow is like this is zeros, right? And then they go to the 1 over square root of the 3, then they go to 1, then they go to square root of the 3, and then go to infinities here. Okay, so the tangents here, right? So take a look here. So this one's here, then what is my other lines here? So this is my tangents, right? So go like this, right? So, okay. So now, in here, they said, okay, so they said, the tangent equal to the square roots of the 3, right? So square roots of the 3. So that means in here, right? And also tangent going to get a negative square roots of the 3. So I'm going to get a in here, right? So for here, so for this part, what is the thetas here? So the square roots of the 3. So just like we did a sine cosine, this is 30 degrees, this is 45 degrees, this is 60 degrees, 90 degrees. So it's what is 60 degrees, right? So 60 degrees, we also know is what is pi over 3, this is pi over 6, this is pi over 4, right? Okay, so this theta here is what? Is pi over what? Pi over 3. So for this ones here, the theta is go here, right? So it's negative pi over 3 here. Okay, so this is the one, the one period, right? Okay, so now I can find the general solution. So what is my general solutions here? Would be the pi over 3 plus, be very careful, what is the tangents period? Tangents period is what? It's pi. So this is plus minus k pi, right? Then this one here is negative pi over 3 plus minus k pi here, right? So be careful about the case here because tangent cotangent, the period is k. And then here sine cosine, their period is 2. So you use 2k pi here. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look. The next ones here. So solve the trig equations by factoring. All right. So how do I find, so that means you factored the equation and let the equation equal to 0. So basically, this is your factor, right? Depends on how many you can have. Maybe 3 or 4, doesn't matter. So after you do that, then you set each one equal to 0, okay? You set each one, set each factor equal to 0, then solving for theta, okay? All right, so now let's take a look here, right? So that means after you factoring, right? So you got several factor. Then what you do here, you set this equal to 0, you set this equal to 0, and set this equal to 0 to solve it. So you just treat it as the x squared. So let's take a look at the first equation. If you just look here, this is 2 cosine square minus 7. Wow, this one is not easy. So let's say here, we say, okay, so let's do the 2 cosine theta, try to factor. So this is cosine theta. So just like x, you treat x as cosine theta, right? So you say 2 cosine theta times cosine theta is 2 cosine. Here's negative 7. Oh, maybe I need to put a 3 here. So 3, okay, so then I put a negative 1. Let's see, it's true or not. 3 times negative 3 times 2, negative 6. Yes. Okay, so this one is equal to 0. After you set equal to 0, then you set this one equal to 0 and set this one equal to 0, right? Okay, we set this one equal to 0, this one equal to 0. So the first thing is here, we set a cosine theta minus 3 equal to 0. So that means cosine theta equal to 3. Is it possible? No, because cosine cannot be greater than 1. So this is not possible. Because cosine is between 1 and negative 1, right? Okay, so now that means the second term is equal to 0. So cosine theta minus 1 equal to 0. So what is cosine theta? Cosine theta is what? Is 1/2, right? So let's try to take a look at this one again. So the cosine, all right? So the cosine is go like this, right? So cosine 1/2, that means has to be positive, right? So here this is 1/2. So I have a point here, I have a point here, right? And then you know cosine, this is a pi over 2, this is a pi, this is a 3 pi over 2, and this is a 2 pi. Okay, so based on the table I show you, so the first theta is equal to what? It's pi over 4, right? Okay, so then the next theta here is here. So it's 3 pi over 2, move more than pi over 4. So it's 3 pi over 2 plus pi over 4. So what is this angles here? This will be, so this will be 3 pi. So this is a 3 pi cosine 1/2. Oh, 1/2. Oh my gosh. All right, so I said it's the square root of 2 over 2. Okay. Okay, I was wondering. All right, so 1/2 is the same. So cosine 1/2 is what? Based on the unit circle is pi over 3. Okay, so that means this will be the 3 pi over 2 plus what? Plus, so this is the, so from 2 pi, so this is from 3 pi over, so this will be from the pi over 6. So this is, okay, so this one is 60. So, okay, so this will be from pi over, what is better? Okay, that's better. Instead of use 3 pi over 2, let's better use here. Okay, maybe here. Okay, because in here from top to here is pi over 4, so this will be 2 pi minus pi over 3, so we'll give you 5 pi over 3. All right, so now this is just, for one period solutions, right? So it's a pi over 3 and the 5 pi over 3. So what is your general solution here? So the cosine is what? The period is 2 pi, right? So the general solution will be pi over 3 plus minus 2k pi. Also will be the 5 pi over 3 plus minus 2k pi here, right? So that will be our solutions here. Okay, let's take a look at the other ones here, right? So the other ones here, so solve the equations. Okay, so let's try to see anything I can factor. Oh, pretty good. Cosine, I can factor. So let me factor the cosine theta out. So this will be the 5 sine theta plus 4 equal to 0, right? So you set this one equal to 0, this one equal to 0, correct? So you set this one equal to 0, this one equal to 0. Okay, good. So you say cosine theta equal to 0. Okay, let's take a look at cosine. This is a cosine. So where is the cosine theta equal to 0? Here and here, right? So now I can say here, the theta equal to the pi over 2 and the theta equal to the 3 pi over 2. Good? Okay. All right. So now the next one's here. Okay, so the next one's here. So this one need to be very careful here, right? So the next one we said 5 sine theta plus 4 equal to 0. Then that means the sine theta is equal to the negative 4 over 5, right? So the sine theta is equal to the negative 0.8. Okay, so if this is the, okay, so here, let's see here. Okay, so this is the sign, right? So here is the sign also, right? Okay, so the negative 0.8, the negative 0.8, where is going to be signs here? Going to one period will be someplace here, correct? Okay, so will be someplace here. Okay, so now also, you know, like I can have another one is where is here, right? So that will be one period here, correct? Okay, so then you use your calculator and then you do, you know, you do the arc sine. So you will say the theta equal to the arc sine negative 0.8. So what is this angle they will give you? They will give you this negative, very close to 0.93 here, right? So it's negative 0.93. So this angle is 0.93. Okay, now here, this is a challenge part, right? So how do I find this angles here, right? This angle is, this is 0.93, so it's from here to here is 0.93, so this is pi's, right? So this second angle here will just be the pi. Now, because this is negative, that means I need to add 0.93. Okay, so this is like a 3.14. Pi is equal to the 3.14, right? Then you add a 0.93. So we'll give you something very close to the 4.07. You see that? Because this distance, right? So take a look at this distance. This distance is what? 0.93. So that's why you need to add this 0.93 distance to the second angles here. So that is my specific solution. So now I want to find my general solutions. So what is my general solutions here? My general solution will be negative 0.93 plus 2k pi, plus minus 2k pi, or 4.07 plus minus 2k pi. Okay, and that's it. So this is a very simple section, but it's also very, very important sections here. So the ways here, you know, let's try to refresh the memories here, right? So when you try to solve the solutions here, right? So when you try to solve the specific solution and you use the graph to help you to identify where is those values, then you use the unit circle to find the first one. Then you see the second one is add this angle or subtract this angle in order to give you the same values here. Okay, that's it. And I hope that you have a good understanding how to solve the trig equations here. Okay, that's it. And you know, that's it for this video, and look forward to talk to you in our next videos. All right, bye. Have a good day.